The secret of the dreidel. The dreidel. A children's game played in the firelight of a cold winter night, the menorah silently glowing in the window, the dreidel. Four sides spinning around the still point in the turning circle, spinning so fast that its sides blur into nothingness, the dreidel. So seemingly insignificant, and yet this little dreidel contains the story of the Jewish people, the history of the whole world. Our story starts not with the miracle of Chanukah, but 1,437 years earlier with Jacob's ladder. Jacob had a prophetic dream of angels ascending and descending a ladder that reached from the ground to the heavens. These angels weren't Hollywood extras with fluorescent tubes over their heads. They were incorporeal spiritual messengers. The protecting forces of four great kingdoms, that would in the future dominate and exile the Jewish people. They are Babylon, Persia, Greece and Rome. At first, Jacob saw the angel of Babylon ascend the ladder 70 steps, and then he came down. The Jewish people were in Babylon, in the Babylonian exile, for 70 years. Then the protecting angel of the empire of Persia and Media climbed up the ladder 52 steps before he too descended. The Jewish people were in exile in Persia 52 years. And then the angel of the empire of Greece climbed 180 rungs. The domination of Greece lasted 180 years. And finally, the protecting angel of the Roman Empire climbed up the ladder, but he didn't come down. And now Jacob feared that this final exile would never end until God promised Jacob, if he will rise up like an eagle and make his nest amongst the stars, even from there I will bring him down. We're still in that final exile, in the softly asphyxiating embrace of Rome's spiritual heirs. The four kingdoms. In the year 3038, the first of our holy temples was razed to the ground, and the majority of the Jewish people led into exile by the Babylonian emperor, Sennacherib. Why was this such a tragedy that the Beis HaMikdash, the holy temple, was destroyed? The Beis HaMikdash represents a unique pipeline between God and man. When it was destroyed, this flow of spiritual energy was severed. Now this level of connection is linked to the Hebrew word nefesh. As it says in Vayikra, when a soul, nefesh, will bring an offering. Nefesh begins with the Hebrew letter nun. Nun represents the kingdom of Babylon. In Megillat Esther, Haman found the final solution to the Jewish problem, genocide. The exile of Persia and Media represents the threat to the body of the Jewish people, the guf, the physical threat of annihilation. Guf begins with the letter Gimel, which stands for the Persian and Median kingdom. Now Greece, on the other hand, represents the attack on Torah, the wisdom of Israel. The Hebrew word for intellect is sechel. The Greeks weren't interested in the physical destruction of the Jewish people. Rather, they wanted to destroy the spiritual core of Judaism, the Torah, and leave a Hellenized hulk that would conform to the Greek norms of aesthetics, drama, the superficial wisdoms. Seichel begins with the Hebrew letter sin, and that's the letter of the kingdom of Greece. The fourth kingdom, Rome, is the summation of all the other exiles. At the beginning of their domination, the Romans, like the Babylonians, stopped the bringing of offerings in the temple. They destroyed the second holy temple and inflicted unthinkable carnage on the guf, the body of the Jewish people, with their massacres. After the massacre at Beitar, they used Jewish blood as fertilizer for 7 years. At first, Rome was the intellectual scion of Greece, but with the conversion of the Emperor Constantine to Christianity in 313 of the Common Era, the Catholic Church then became the spiritual heir of the Roman Empire. After the demise of the influence of the Church, the mantle of Rome was subsequently worn by secularism and materialism. These are the spiritual incarnation of Rome in our own times. Rome is all the exiles rolled up into one, and thus it is represented by the Hebrew word hakol, meaning all, and its first letter is the letter He. Take a still point in the turning circle. Where is the point at the center of a circle? Can you define it? And yet it exists. Just like the letter Yud in the Hebrew alphabet, a single dot from which the whole universe was created. This is the threshold of existence. There is a still point in that turning circle. And around that dot turns the whole world. The Jewish people are that little dot, so infinitesimally small, and yet around this immutable dot the world turns. What stands in opposition to that little dot? What is the opposite of the central point that occupies no space? Direction, north, south, east and west, expansion in 4 directions. 4 is the antithesis of the one. 4 is the number of the kingdoms who stand eternally opposed to the Jewish people, eternally opposed to He who is one, and to His reflection in this world, the Jewish people. Take another look at our dreidel spinning. What do you see? 4 sides, spinning around a central point that occupies no space. And when those sides spin, they themselves cease to have direction anymore. Now in the blur of their whirling, they are a circle, a reflection of the still small point at its center. What is it that is carved on the sides of our dreidel? Nun, Gimel, Sin, He. On the surface, those letters stand for Nes Gadol Haya Sham. A great miracle happened there. The commemoration of a miraculous victory of a faithful few over the might of the Greek Empire. But on a deeper level, the dreidel is a microcosmic representation of the 4 kingdoms. Babylon, Persia, Greece and Rome, spinning around the center, the Jewish people. And the hand that spins the dreidel comes from above. Every empire thinks that it will last forever, but the hand that spins only spins the dreidel of history for a predetermined time, and then each empire, despite its vainglorious boasting, falters on its axis and finally crashes. Hebrew letters have numerical values. If you add up the numerical value of Nun, Gimel, He and Shin, Sin, you will have 358, which just happens to be the numerical value of the gematria of Moshiach, the Messiah, whose coming we await daily. The dreidel, a children's game played in the firelight of a cold winter night, the menorah silently glowing in the window, the dreidel, its 4 sides spinning around the still point in the turning circle, spinning so fast that its sides blur into nothingness. The dreidel, so seemingly insignificant, and yet this little dreidel contains the story of the Jewish people, the history of the whole world.